Hi YouTubers! So I got the itch today to take on another sewing project. So today I'm going to show you how to remove the collar from a collared shirt, which I did not actually do on this shirt. I did it on a shirt dress that I got from the Gap a few years ago. It's a shirt dress. I really like shirt dresses. I'm kind of tall, which sometimes it's hard to find a good shirt dress, and this one fit really great, but I found myself not ever wearing it, and I couldn't put my finger on why until last week when I realized it was because I really didn't like the collar. It felt very kind of bulky, and I just didn't really like it. Everything else about the dress I really liked, which I'll show you, except for the bulkiness of the collar. So I looked around at it and I said, you know what, I can probably just remove this pretty easily. So I looked up some other YouTube tutorials to see what was out there. Initially when I searched it, which I think I just searched remove collar from shirt or something like that, and not really much came up. There was one pretty good tutorial that basically, so for any kind of collared shirt, it's really just got this separate piece of fabric that is the collar and this like nice seam that attaches both the collar to the shirt. And so one tutorial that I found that was good had you rip the seam out and then basically like resew it, which I just didn't want to do. So my process, which again I'll kind of show you, was basically to remove some of this extra fabric on the collar and then just fold it over to basically just like tuck it over, which I'll show you what I did on the actual dress. So I'm gonna walk you through kind of how I did it. I'm really happy how it turned out. I'll show it to you, and I hope it's really helpful. Great. Okay, so step one is to find the line on the collar that you are going to want to serge off. So for me, I took the collar and laid it out flat and just took kind of the first or the top half of the collar, I'd say about 3/4 of an inch down, and just straight lined it across. So the point of doing this is, so this will be the line that you serge across, and it's going to just remove this extra fabric right here from the collar. So ideally you're going to do that because whenever that is removed, you're going to be able to fold down that material, so this extra part's going to be gone. You can fold that down and then fold the fabric down again so it will sew over the serged part so you won't be able to see it, and then you can sew off the clean collar part. So now after you've serged off this excess bit of collar, it really will just look like you have sort of shortened the collar. You've just trimmed it up a little bit. And again, the point of this step is really just to, when we're folding over the fabric, one, so it's not frayed, so there's definitely going to be no fraying involved at all, that's why we serge it. But then when you fold over the fabric, just so I think it's just a little bit less thick, so that it matches up with this original line right here. So basically this thickness right here is double the thickness of this one right here. So when we fold it over and then fold it over, we're going to sew that down flat, and then we're going to have our nice clean edge. So this next step before I actually put the pins in and get ready to sew it is, so from the serged area, which looked like this, I folded the fabric over once to match up with that inner seam, which I know is really hard to see. I folded over once, ironed it out, pressed it out, made it all nice and straight, folded it over again, which this is how I'm actually going to pin it up now, and then run it under just my normal sewing machine, but I think ironing it is a really good step. It just keeps your lines really nice and clean. So the very last step is to just pin up the top and bottom where you're going to seam it up so that it matches on kind of the already existing seams on the outside of it. And I'll show you when it's done. And we've got the final product, which I think turned out really, really great. That's the visible kind of part, that's the interior, which I think just turned out so nice. I think it turned out turned out looking like this is how it was made to be. So you can see kind of where I did the threading along the edges, but it turned out great.